you have a ton of money you're missing out on in these cold or supposedly cold leads. The best salespeople out there, they never, ever let a cold lead give up. One of the big issues that I think every salesperson in any industry finds themselves in, no matter what, is this issue of what to do with our cold opportunities or our cold leads. And the problem with this is there's a ton of money if we can find a way to consistently approach these cold leads. And there's two main steps to reigniting cold leads. And I'll say it again, you have a ton of money you're missing out on in these cold or supposedly cold leads. So let's jump into and unpack those details together. So the first step with reigniting cold leads is to stimulate the leads, stimulate all of the cold leads, right? And there's a few different ways that you can stimulate, but you need to kind of stir the pot up again to see what cream might rise to the top. If you sit there and you just try and say, hey, just wanted to check in on that thing we did a long time ago, that's not necessarily stirring the pot up or stimulating it. You have to reinvigorate like you would if you were going to invite them to a new workshop. So there's a few different methods for us to go and reapproach a cold lead. The first one being to remind them. I want to kind of nudge them in a way that reminds them that we talked once before. Me and you, we got together at one point, and maybe you weren't in the right position at that point, but here's the real big benefit, and we remind them of the pain that they have, the pain that they initially got attracted to solving. This can be a really powerful tactic if you already know what that pain point is for that client. So maybe not the best method for every one of your cold leads, but you want to identify the prospects that you have gone to a certain length within your sales cycle. So the first option to stimulate the pot, remind them of the pain they once had. The second way that we love, and I was just talking with an advisor just the other day about this exact thing. He had come to me and said, hey, I've got these old leads and I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing with them. How would you suggest I approach this certain batch of folks? And he had people coming to workshops that were, the people that didn't book appointments with him. They came to the workshop, but they weren't booking the appointment with him. What I was suggesting to him is the second way of stimulating old or cold leads. Let the prospects know that there is a new version of this thing that we talked about before. I would be remiss if I hadn't reached out to you and let you know about this incredible new update to the things we were talking about there. The rate environment of today is so much better than it was before, and I'm finding people are increasing the thing we talked about by over 20%. And so it's like the value proposition has been updated. There's a new reason for me to be reaching out. So all of you folks out there that are a little nervous about reaching out to your prospects again and being an annoyance, remember this. There is a very, very small difference between persistence and annoyance. It's about perception. How do you perceive yourself? And how do they perceive you? So update can be a really powerful way for you to stimulate old or cold leads. It is actually one of the best ways that I've found to consistently stay in front of your clients without annoying them. The last method for stimulating old or cold leads is really for your coldest leads, the people that have been sitting around in the doldrums for a really, really long time. It's called the offer method, and it's not just an offer of a product or anything. It's more of an offer of concession to that prospect that may have come in for an appointment, may have attended a workshop, may have just filled out a lead card, or showed some sort of interest in learning from you. But the idea behind the offer is to allow a concession, kind of like we've talked in old videos about getting on their side of the table, really kind of offering them the driver's seat in the sales process. And I've found this to be a really powerful topic, or a really powerful way to give people the perception that they're in control of the sales process. They get to dictate terms to me. And so if the remind method doesn't necessarily work, or the update method doesn't necessarily work, this offer method can be a really great way to stimulate a conversation with an old prospect. So the second step of the reviving process of cold or old leads is, once we've stimulated them, we need to educate them. We actually have to do the education side of things. We have to re-educate them. So your first option with educating, or now re-educating, this older cold lead is to just refunnel the prospect, because then I'm not wasting extra time creating a whole new sales process. And this is really maybe best suited for those leads or old or cold prospects that I used either the remind method or the update method to stimulate them back to the conversation table. I want to put them right back into my traditional sales funnel, which would imply they're going to come back in for a first appointment again. And that allows me to not have to do any extra thought. I just go right back to my same sales process, and now I've got a consistent method of how I'm going to take older cold leads and plug them right into my same sales system. So let's talk about new funnel, right? So a new funnel implies that I've used the offer method, right? Because the offer method in the stimulation phase, is saying, well, you know, I recognize when you first came to see me, it wasn't a great experience for you for whatever reason, or you didn't want to move forward with the system in some way. So I'm going to have to use a new method. I'm implying that I'm going to give them a chance to come in and get this pain resolved by me in a new way. So I have to have a new process to allow them to get comfortable with me. I can't just put them right back into the same old sales process. I wouldn't even limit myself to the same solutions that I've had. In fact, that might even be a huge, a dangerous landmine to stay away from, is like that we come to the exact same conclusion at the end of the day. Sometimes you won't be able to avoid that, but in some circumstances, a whole new approach is completely warranted, especially when you've kind of stimulated the pot using that offer method with some sort of offer of concession. So in summary, if we're gonna go and reignite old or cold leads, there's really two big steps for it. First, I've got to stimulate this prospect, and I've got a few different options. I can either remind them, I can update them, or I can offer them an offer of concession. But I want to stimulate them back to the conversation table. Once I've got them back, they give me some sort of pulse that they're alive and they're out there and they're interested still. I need to decide whether I'm going to put them back in my traditional funnel, I'm going to refunnel them, or I'm going to give them a whole new sales experience with a new, different type of funnel. And really, those are the keys to getting these older cold leads back to the table. And even if it is 10% or 20% of those cold leads coming back to the table, I've increased my sales performance over the year, and it is done at basically no real cost to you. And just, again, I think the key to this is just remembering that your perception of yourself is the most important thing. You have to remember that you are not annoying these people, that you're being persistent in the pursuit of helping them. If you liked today's video, we hope you did. Go ahead, give the video a like. If you have suggestions on how you handle cold or old leads, I'd be really interested to hear that. Throw that in the comments. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, be sure to. And of course, if you're subscribed already, make sure you've got that notification bell ringing, because that'll help you get updated anytime we put out a new episode. And if you haven't already checked out these videos recently that we put out, a lot of folks are really enjoying them. We hope you enjoyed today's class, but we also hope you enjoy the rest of our catalog here. We'll see you next time here on Coffee for Closers. Take care.